Hey guys, welcome to Juicy Tea, where I read out the best stories on Reddit, so you don't have to. The funny, shocking, and satisfyingly juicy. I think I almost got trafficked, posted by Snowflakes in October. So I, 19 female, am a content creator on Instagram. I'm relatively new to this world, but once I surpassed 80,000 followers, I had local photographers asking to collab on a regular basis. Last night, I was in a Facebook group chat for models and photographers. I'm not a model by any means, but I did want to create some crazy photos. And a new photographer with a small portfolio reached out to me, asking to do a pre-shoot. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. He explained to me that he wasn't new, but his studio was, and he wanted more business, so I understood. He had very specific requirements and specific clothing choices, which was strange because usually that's something I talk about with other content creators. He was completely opposed to my inspiration and said that he had other ideas, but refused to enlighten me on them. So today I got ready for it, and before I left, I asked him how many outfits I should bring, or if I should just wear it. He never responded. I asked him if there was anything I should bring. Nothing. He never answered, so I was like, okay, cool, never mind, I'll stay home. He then frantically called me asking, where are you? I said I didn't even know if he still wanted me to come, so I stayed home. But he said to come now, come now. I realized that he also didn't understand English too well, but over text, he was fine. He called me 12 times in my Uber. So I got out of my Uber and I realized I was at his house, not a studio. But when I saw that the house was abandoned, I got scared. Glass was broken, so were the cameras, and I had a bolt lock like it had been put up for sale. When I walked up to the door, When I walked up to the door, I almost rang the doorbell, but I heard a loud boom from inside the house, so I took off running down the street. I stayed on the edge of the street where the cars were. I don't know, as soon as I walked up to the door, I had a gut feeling something terrible was going to happen. Edit. Let me add that I even asked him if he wanted to reschedule before I left. He wasn't responding. He said nothing. He called me 30 minutes after the pre-shoot was scheduled. Am I the a-hole for breaking up with my girlfriend over a younger sister? Posted by a throwaway account. I need some outside perspective on the situation. I broke up with my girlfriend, 27 female, 5 days ago due to her sister's behaviour, 24 female. Me and my ex have been dating for the last 2 years. During this time, her sister has come on to me multiple times. I'm not sure how many times, but it was almost every time I saw her. I told her sister multiple times to leave me alone and to stop her behaviour because I don't do the whole cheating thing. But that did nothing. I've spoken to my ex about it multiple times. She even caught her sister in the act of trying to lock me in a room with herself. Nothing changed. I even spoke to their parents about it, that the behaviour of the younger daughter is unacceptable. And again, nothing happened. Why is everyone seemingly okay with this? Who's fine with their sister hitting on their boyfriend? I'm not gonna lie and say the sister's ugly. No, she's actually really beautiful. But I'm 100% sure that I've not led her on or anything. Even when I greeted her, I gave her a side hug every single time. I've never been in a room alone with her or anything. I've just kept my distance from her at all costs. I don't have her on Insta, Facebook, and I don't even have a cell phone number. We've never shared a text or a phone call. Her family even gave me a stupid nickname, The Puppy, because I follow my girlfriend around everywhere when I'm over at their house. The only reason I followed her is because her sister's behaviour seemed to stop when she was around. I told her that I'd stop going over to her parents' house because that's where the problem is, and I didn't want any part of it. She didn't like that idea and sulked around the house for weeks because I didn't want to go with her. At no point did I say she can't go, I just said I wasn't going to go with her. What the F? Does she want you to hook up with her sister or something? 5 days ago, I relented and went over to her parents' house. We had too much to drink and slept over that night. In the morning, I woke up with the sister completely naked in bed next to me. I stormed out of the room, down into the kitchen, and told her that we were done in front of her parents. She was silent for what seemed like forever, and then started to break down, asking why. All I said was, go look in that room, and I stormed out of the house and got into my car. It took less than 2 minutes, and then the calls started to come in. Not just from her, but her parents as well. I didn't answer any of the calls. When I got home 40 minutes later, I had 108 missed calls from her and her parents, and 36 messages, 2 from her parents. The messages from her parents were just them apologising to me, saying they thought I was joking about the sister every time I brought it up, and they didn't believe me. All I got from my now ex was, "Sorry, she'll handle it. It will never happen again. I shouldn't leave. We can work through this." I'm just done. She's even gotten my family involved and our friend. 90% of them are on her side, saying I'm overreacting and that I'm the a-hole for dumping her, and that we can work through this. How is everyone on her side? She let her sister sexually harass you for years and even pressured you to go back there. That's it, I'm calling it. They're secretly part of a cult and they're trying to recruit you. It's the only thing that makes sense. Tell me I'm wrong. I sent her a message that she has until this Sunday to get her things out of my house. I'm just done. Surprisingly, she hasn't sugarcoated anything and explained everything correctly to everyone, but I'm still in the wrong for leaving her. Her parents in their messages are angry at me for hurting their daughter. My family's angry because they love her. And our friend is angry because I refuse to take her back and is saying that I'm overreacting. 2 years of this and I'm overreacting? Am I the a-hole? What about the creepy effing sister? Is no one angry at her? God, imagine if the genders were switched and OP was a girl being sexually harassed by her boyfriend's brother. Even woke up with him lying naked in bed with her one night. Yikes! Am I the a-hole for kidnapping my baby and causing my husband to have a panic attack? Our next post comes from the BestofRedditorUpdates subreddit, posted by Edition Familiar 655. I, 29 female, recently started working again after having my daughter 4 months ago. Daycare is too expensive, so my husband, 35 male, reluctantly agreed to stay home. It's important to note that he's been unemployed since 2021. He receives benefits. It's also important to note that he's extremely lazy. He doesn't cook, clean, or help out in any way. I was nervous about leaving her home with her father, but I had no choice. When I came back from work, she was clean and sleeping. The next few times I came home, he was either playing with her, feeding her, or out for a walk with her. I was happy. A few days ago, my neighbour told me that as soon as I leave, the baby cries, and she cries for hours. My neighbour said she knocked on our door, and he finally answered it. He was sleeping. I've concluded that he sleeps all day, and right before I come home, he pretends to care for her. So, I decided to take the day off work. I left home at my regular time, waited 30 minutes, and then went home. Sure enough, he was fast asleep with his stupid noise-cancelling headphones on. I went to my daughter's room, scooped her up, and took her to my friend's house. I waited about 2 hours and then I finally called him to tell him that I was coming home early. He called me back saying he can't find the baby and told me that he was going to call the police. But before he did, I told him what I did. He called me an a-hole and a lot of other words too. When I got home, his mother was there, calming his nerves because he had a panic attack. She also called me an a-hole. My husband decided to sleep at her house. Family members are telling me that I'm a terrible person. I know it's extreme, but I don't know if I'd call myself an a-hole. Update 1. The last few days have been crazy. Once I finally told everyone what happened, many took my side. But my ex-husband and mother-in-law still think I'm a jerk. My friend allowed my daughter and I to move in with her, which is very nice. We were living in a bad area before, so this can be a fresh start. My ex-husband hasn't asked to see his daughter for the past week. Online, he's saying how I ruined his youth by trapping him with a baby. His youth? He's 35! I guess he is acting like a baby though. I don't care anymore, I'm in a nice routine with my daughter now. I took her to the hospital and they found signs of neglect. I explained the situation and the doctor advised me to press charges against my ex-husband. I think I will. But I am safe and my daughter is safe. Update 2. My ex-husband wants me to surrogate for him and his girlfriend because her body is too perfect to ruin. A few months ago, I made a post about my ex-husband. Since then, we've had little to no communication, except through a third party because we have a daughter together. He does absolutely nothing for her. He asked for full custody because he didn't want to pay child support. I finally got him to agree to supervised visits and zero child support. The last 3 months, I haven't spoken a word to him, and he hasn't seen our daughter. But recently, he's been telling me all about his hot 18-year-old girlfriend. We did agree to tell each other about our relationship since that person would interact with our daughter, but he's always accidentally sending me nudes or bikini pictures of her, or accidentally sending me messages meant for her. The other day, he told me that he wants to have a baby with her. He's irresponsible and she's immature, so they would make horrible parents. But he wants me to carry their child. Why? Because her teenage body is so hot and sexy, and I'm old and used. I have no idea why he would even ask me, like, why is he telling me about her body? Why does he want me involved in any way? It's also weird. Oakle Storybro says, get him to confirm this request over text. Then, take him to court for full custody of your daughter, all the child support, and block him. Why did you agree to no child support? Please get what you're owed and cut him out of your life. What a disgusting pig. F that guy. Opie replies and says it was by text. He's meant to contact the third party, but recently he's been contacting me. That's only for emergencies. Salty All the Time says he just wants to trigger you by showing off his child girlfriend. God knows what these young gals see in a guy double their age. Opie responds, he's unemployed, lives with his mother, can't drive because of DUI, wakes up at 1 PM, and hardly ever showers. Yup, he's a prize. I ruined my coworker's first chance at a vacation in 3 years. Our next story comes from the PettyRevenge subreddit. Posted by One Art Please. My coworker and I share a space. She's been there 3 years. Myself, 5 months. She's not my boss, but constantly looks over my shoulder, telling me how to change my work. She's rude to the people we work with overseas online. She does it all on speakerphone and ignores me when I ask her to use a headset while she yells at them. She talks about her stomach problems and her issues pooping. When I ask her not to, she tells me to get over it. If another coworker comes to speak to me, she answers for and over me. She also swears at her computer and verbally responds to every email she doesn't like. She also constantly talks under her breath while reading her work. I've asked her many times to please stop, but she got pissed, saying she doesn't jump to my tune and complains about having to walk on eggshells around me, as if she isn't accustomed to modifying her behavior for anyone. The company is tiny, the owner is insanely and pitifully cheap, so I'm the first person in years that's able to cover her work. She's desperate for a vacation and recently booked a long trip to Hong Kong for 2.5 weeks. She doesn't know yet, but I was recently offered a way better full-time job through someone I've worked freelance for in the past. My freelancer is understanding if I wanted to push out my start date, as my coworker's holiday is in 2 weeks. But I think I'll give my notice early. Our boss is a huge a-hole and my coworker hates his guts. It should be an interesting fallout because if she goes on holiday, then there's no one who can do her job. She'll have a total meltdown. Remember, I post new content every day, so subscribe for more juicy tea.